everyone, I'm Anna Zielinski and welcome back to the Producer's Desk. Okay, this is a very serious video. You see, I had to pull my hair up. I'm rolling my sleeves up because we're talking legal delivery. Gosh, this topic it's one of those topics that is not sexy at all. I mean, it's worse than budgeting. Everything I'm going to tell you is going to make you want to go to sleep, but it is so important because without a proper legal delivery, you cannot sell your film. End of story, done. I have been there, done that. I've seen things being held up by one sheet of paper that I had to dig back up from 10 years ago. Hold up an entire sale. So I found it necessary that I needed to share this with you and get into it with you. And you know what's going to be great is that I have a spec sheet that I'm sharing with you that I'll go over with you today that I'm going to let you have. And you keep this and you put this in your file. So when you sell your movie and you get that spec sheet from the distributor, you're going to be like, yeah, I know about my legal delivery because Anna taught me and I am ready because I prepared from the beginning. Because that's the secret to doing this thing. It's just paperwork. It's paperwork you will have done from beginning, from when you got your script, copyright and rights secured there all the way through production and all the contracts there to the very end. So it's stuff you have, but if you don't think about it properly, it will be things you'd have to dig up that you're just like, where was this? Or things that are incomplete. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get into it. So how about let's get into it? Okay. So first of all, what is legal delivery, Anna? Why are you talking about this and you didn't tell us what it is? Okay. Basically, it is all the physical and legal elements that you need to have about your film. So when I say physical, we talked about post-production. It's the master that you so properly QC'd that is ready to go out in the world. Well, the distributor will have specs of how they want that master. And I talked about it a little bit in the post-production video. But in that spec sheet that we're going to go over, it gives you more specifics as to an HD master, a UHD master, if you're going to do theatrical, a DCP. So that's the physical side. Then you have all the legal paperwork to get in the hands of your buyer to just basically reassure them that you have the rights cleared to all the music, to all the likenesses of the actors that you photographed. Just knowing that you own these and you've properly papered it. That's all it is. Okay? So it's not that bad, but it's one of those things I got to tell you because when it comes time for me to do it for my shows, I dread it so much. I'm like, and here comes the process. Because most of the time, you're dealing with lawyers on the other side. And they're very particular. Like, very particular. Like, I literally had, and I'm not going to tell you which company, I'm not going to say it, where I did not have a comma. So let's just say my company's name is Anna Zielinski, comma, Inc. I didn't have a comma in my paperwork. I just said Anna Zielinski, Inc. And those people made me go back and put the comma in. And I don't know if you know what it's like to have things that have already been signed and now you have to go back and undo that stuff. That's probably why I have some gray hairs up here that you may or may not be able to see right now. So anyway, that's my story. I want you to know, I need you to know this, and I can share the tips right now and the tricks to make this so easy for you because I want you to sell this thing and I want nothing getting in your way. Again, this is a actual delivery spec of a pretty big distributor. I've taken off all names, so now I can share it with you. And I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to attach it down below, and you're going to have it. And I'm so excited for you to have it. All right, so let's go. So you can see that it was called Schedule B in the contract. All right, so this is all the goodies, man. This is where we're going. So take a look. These are the physical elements that they're asking for. So we've got video masters, and like I said, it's usually broken down into types here. So UHD is considered 4K. HD is considered 1080. So it's telling you exactly how they want these masters to be delivered. The great news is with these specs, there is actually another sheet here that actually delineates all the different, the actual technical parts of this, and you would give that to your post house. They will ask you for that, and you go, I've got it right here. And they will output the masters to this spec. So a lot of times you'll see texted and textless. So if there's text involved, with your titles and so forth and your main title credits, they want all that text at the back of the master so they can manipulate the master however they want it. And same sort of thing here with audio specs, letting you know exactly how they want it laid out. 5.1 stereo. These are pretty typical masters that you are going to have to deliver for, especially for streaming and even international. This is work for international. There might be a few additional things, but this is pretty good baseline for you. Dialogue, music, effects, stems. You've heard DMNEs where they'll say, hey, we want to make sure we have all these stems. Again, it's all the little pieces that go into creating your mix and your picture that they have access to, that if they have to do some adjustments or what have you, they can do it. So we're moving to accessibility materials, which is the CCSL, the Combined Continuity Spotting List, which is basically your whole script laid out from beginning to end by time code. Every single thing, like someone watches this thing down and writes it all out. International needs this a lot because sometimes they'll do, for dubbing purposes and so forth. Closed captions, those are for the hearing impaired or for myself and my family. We like to watch with captions. I guess I'm getting old because I like to, sometimes I don't understand what they're saying. Okay? So closed captions. And then a lab access letter, which is basically wherever you do your mastering, wherever your assets are going to be archived, they want access to that in case they need to order some other stuff. Okay, so that's not too bad, right? So that's the physical elements. Look down here, you do have to provide the marketing elements. And that's your synopsis, your cast and crew bios, still photos, EPK. I went over this with you guys a little bit in my budgeting top sheet episode, where this is just crucial to get. Again, that's still photography, all the interviews you would have done with the talent. If there were some shout outs here for this particular distribution company, they requested certain shout outs like, watch this coming on d2do2do.com. Okay, or so I gave away it's a streaming company. Maybe I did not. But anyway, there might be some, like if you're securing your deal, you secured your deal a little bit ahead of time. Lucky you, right? If you were able to get the deal in place while you're filming, you will get some asks from the studio or buyer for certain things, maybe for their marketing purposes. And this was one of those instances where they gave us shout outs. Okay, BTS video, again, behind the scenes video. They go in, they have a marketing team, distribution wants to sell your movie, so they need these tools. All right, now here comes the good stuff, the legal elements. It starts with a picture metadata form. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I don't have to explain every single one just yet because you're going to be asleep at the end of the video. But a lot of times you have templates. So for this company, it's an Excel sheet. It's just putting information about your film into this grid, which basically would be the information you would see when you open up, a movie on Netflix, and then you click open and it shows who the actors are, the director, and all that metadata is put into that form. Now here comes a sexy one, chain of title. Now this is a lot of legal stuff. I thought about doing a video on this. I'm going to see how you guys like this video before I do a video on this. Quite necessary though. This is one. Chain of titles is what gets a lot of people we've worked for, or clients that we've had trying to distribute their work, and they don't have clean chain of title. All that's telling us is, look, do you own the rights? Do all the rights flow through to your company? This is who you're selling this to us. You did you dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's to make sure that you own all the rights. And that's what 1 through 12 is. Take a look, absorb it. Some of it, like I've talked about copyright, a lot of it's a lot of legal stuff that, once again, the distributor will give you templates to, like a certificate of origin. It's a document, you plug and play. They usually will have one. Some of these will have one to give you an example of that. And then the rest is pretty self-explanatory. You've got your producer, director agreements, actor agreements, paid ad summary. This is one that gets a lot of folks. It's a lot of legalese that's in the contracts that basically lets the distributor know who has to be credited and how, who gets the main title credits, who's going to be on the paid ads, on the key art. This document summarizes that. Let's keep going. Credit docs, same sort of thing. What credits, main titles, end titles, any sort of guild affiliations. Did you do this union, non-union? You got to provide all that information. This restrictions on dubbing thing, this is just a template. We gave this template out all the time. It's very simple, that says there are no restrictions. You can do whatever you want. Well, not whatever you want, but it's a simple statement that says there are no restrictions to dubbing, subtitling, and editing. Sign, 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 all done. So some of this stuff can be really in-depth, and some of it is just as simple as a one piece of paper, template laid out for you. Sign it, we're good. Next, music. Music can be in its own legal delivery. Sometimes some studios require that separately. So it's real important when you're doing your music, you have your composer agreement in order, signed. If you license any music, making sure all those licenses are in order. They do require proofs of payment, so they want to see that check is cleared. Okay, wire your stuff, way easier. Music cue sheets. Oh, that's a good one. That basically by time code lists every music cue you got in your movie. Yes, it is tedious. The composer will do that. If you have a bigger film, we just wrapped a film a few months ago, and a music supervisor managed that cue sheet. Because there was more to it. We had a lot of songs that were licensed, a lot of things that were also composed, so it was a hodgepodge of things. So the music supervisor ended up pulling that together. Loved her. Yay. Clearances, art clearances, script clearances. There's a pretty extensive list that they'll give you to make sure that you've dotted your I's. It's like, so when you're doing production, guys, if you got artwork on the wall that's not yours, take it down. Otherwise, you need a license for it, or you got to blur it. Graphics, anything and everything that is not yours. Anything and everything that's not covered in the location agreement. So it is, it's an important one. And usually there's a cue sheet involved here that lists every single thing that you did. Like I said, from graphics, even like with wardrobe, logos, t-shirts. There's things that just can be used that's fair use. And then there's things that, you have to check into, right? Brands and so forth. Investor and participant agreements and E&O Insurance. Errors and omissions insurance. This is something you need to be able to cover yourself after the fact in your movie. If there are truly any errors or omissions, you left someone's credit out. Something is with the script. Maybe you didn't do a script clearance and you used Anna Zielinski's name in the script. And I go, oh, that's my name and you did not clear it with me. Lawsuit. So this is the insurance that kicks in at that point to cover any sort of liability. Okay, so that spec sheet is a good baseline of all the items that you will be asked for legal delivery, give or take a few. And like I said, every distributor buyer is different, but out of all the ones I've done in all my years, this one overlaps pretty well. So I'm excited that I can share that with you and you have that. But let me sum this up by giving you some tips to making your legal delivery much easier. It all comes with preparation. So when you're looking at that list, that legal deliverable list, remember there were things like the producer contract, the actor contracts, location agreements. Start building your legal delivery folder from day one of production. You know what? Back it up to pre-production. Because once you get into, okay, I'll take that back. Back it up to development. That chain of title, all those chain of title documents I was talking about, those are things that you would have already had in the very beginning, right? When you secure your IP, you're going to have the writer's agreement, you're going to have your copyright and all that. Create that folder then, and that's its own thing. Now, when you move into production, all the contracts that you're doing, I would duplicate that folder again and dump it in the legal delivery file and designate someone you trust. As a producer, sometimes you have so much stuff going on, you might not be able to do it yourself, but you remember I did the episode on producers, co-producers, associate producers. This would be an assignment I would give to that person. Like, you're in charge of this legal delivery box and you better make sure everything is in it. On this list, put it in there. So, and then you do your due diligence along the way. You need to have someone making sure they check the contracts, that they're signed, that the company engaging the individual is the correct LLC of your movie to the comma. Please make sure, because it really does make a difference. I know I made a point that seems so ludicrous, but a comma does make a difference, because Anna Zelinsky Inc. and Anna Zelinsky, Inc. is two different names. So just make sure your documents are clean and accurate. And you know what? You want to budget for delivery, because when you get to the end, you still need someone to do this and deliver it to the buyer or the distributor, and that takes a lot of time. There's a lot of back and forth. They will scrutinize your folder. So I would put about $5,000 to $8,000 budgeted for just legal delivery, and it is money well paid. And make sure you have a good legal consultant, whether you have a lawyer or you have a really great business affairs guy. I've worked with both, and both work well. There's some really sharp business affairs guys out there that aren't necessarily attorneys, but they know their stuff. And for this kind of thing, they can do it. And their rates are usually about half of what an attorney would charge you to do simple paperwork type things that are one sheet things that I would like I was telling you, that restrictions on dubbing and title, or maybe a certificate of authorship that you need for a musician that worked on something. And I know I'm throwing these things out there and you're like, oh, that's Greek to me. But once you do one of these, you'll see how you need one piece of paper that's a template type thing. And a business affairs guy can charge you $125 an hour to do that, whereas an attorney would charge you $450. So keep that in mind. And then it's just really understanding the expectation of the distributor. I have worked with some studios that have been known to be tough, and I'm kind of grateful for that at this point, because they've trained me to where my legal delivery is on point, because I've been scrutinized so much by some of the toughest legal departments that have worked with the studio. And like I said, I give props to this one gal. She's tough, but she taught me a lot. Whew. Like I said, a few more gray hairs from her. I hope this isn't too daunting for you. It can seem that way. It's not. That's why I want to give you this document. Save this for when you are doing it. Refer back to this video when it comes time. Take a deep breath. You got this. They will help you through it, whoever's doing it. I'm just trying to make it a little bit easier for you, in that you do your housekeeping in the beginning, so you're not hunting for that one sheet of paper that is keeping your deal from happening. And most of all, if this episode was helpful, hit the subscribe button, the like button, ring all the bells, do what you got to do. You know what to do. And know that I'm here for you, here to answer any of those questions, and just continue to provide you the tools to make your film a reality. And most of all, remember, together we create.